am the mayor in waiting. The mayor is here. Good evening, Mayor Mattioli. And Mayor Mattioli is stepping down after 6 years. What, 6 years as mayor and
22 altogether.
22 altogether. So, and I have stepped up, and so I am the mayor in waiting now. And I'm going to tell you a little bit about me that you probably already know. I've been here in Palm Beach County for 50 years, and I've been in Royal Palm Beach for 20 years, and I love this county, and I like Royal Palm Beach. It's just the right place to be. It's not too big, it's not too small, it's just as Goldilocks says, it's just right. I'm retired from the University of Florida, IFAS, which is Agricultural Extension, where I served as the director for 11 years. And I lived in Royal Palm Beach with my husband Gary, who's retired graphic artist of the National Enquirer, and I could tell you many, many stories there. The ones I like the best is how he removes the cellulite off all the stars. I won't say anything more, but there are a lot of stories to be told there. I have been involved as a public servant. I began in your city of Green Acres. I lived there, and I was on the planning and zoning and served as the vice chair there. And that was my first time into public service, and I did enjoy it. I've been involved in the community for years. I served also as a facilitator for the FAU Institute of Government while I was in Green Acres, and I was the cookie maker extraordinaire for the PTA for Green Acres Elementary when Mercedes is not here tonight, but when she was the vice principal of Green Acres Elementary. So I've been around for a long time. Yes, indeed I have. And I know many, many people. Since leaving, I was on the council for 5 years, from 2008 until 2013. And one of those years I did serve as the vice mayor. And since leaving public office there, I still have worked in the community. I have worked with Selena when the group of, and Marcia, who is here too, a very good friend of ours, we got together and we realized that the small businesses within our area are not being well represented, and we all helped to form the Western Business Alliance, which after a year and a half now has over 100 members, and we are there to serve the interests of small businesses and within our community. But I'm going to get back to my service as a public servant. I spent 5 years on the council in Royal Palm Beach, and they were wonderful years. And during that time, I made an exceptional effort to be the representative of our municipality. I knew that the best work that I could do was to represent them wherever I could. I served on the Palm Beach County League of Cities, on the executive board, all the way through all of the seats up to vice chair. I served on the Treasure Coast Regional Planning Council, on the executive board, all the way through their seats up to vice chair. I also served as a member of the Metropolitan Planning Organization, which you may know determines where the funds are going to be spent on roads, what plans are going to be done. They make the long-range and the short-range plan. And when I got there, I was the alternate because Royal Palm Beach didn't have a seat every year. We had to alternate our seat with Green Acres, which meant that we had no voice at that table except every other year. And with the situations of State Road 7, we have an issue of Roebuck Road, we have the Madrid Road connection, all of those things which I championed, but we didn't have a voice at that table except every other year. So I went out and started to begin to talk to people, and I started to push for us to have a full-time representative. And today there is a full-time representative. Green Acres is there every year, and Royal Palm Beach is now represented every year. And that's the way it needs to be for all of our municipalities. You cannot function if you're not at the table of these organizations. And I have shown leadership in all of the things that I do. And I believe leadership is what we're lacking in Royal Palm Beach and have been lacking. We need strong leadership. I said that I was out of politics, out of public service, and I meant it. Until we had an issue that arose in October that, I'm sorry, it was the worst thing that could happen, and that's the racetrack gas station proposal. And if you haven't heard about it in your Your neighborhood, I know it was fought in Hypoluxo. In fact, it was denied by Commissioner Santamaria on Hypoluxo, and other communities have fought this. Well, that development was the final betrayal of Royal Palm Beach. It was making our just right community not just right. It doesn't fit there. And so I decided to go and talk to my residents and say, I'm not happy with it, but how do you feel? And well, I was overwhelmed with what I heard. They first didn't know about it, and secondly, were adamantly against it. And I said, well, let's go to a meeting. And it grew and it grew and it grew, and the small businesses joined me. And we went and simply thought all we had to do was to ask that they not consider this, that they deny it. And the October 15th meeting became the October 29th meeting, which became the December 3rd meeting. We still did not, which became a January 4th informational meeting. And now we will have a meeting on January the 14th to make this decision. We have met with each of them, different various members of our board, of our group, with the mayor and the council. Many of them, except for Councilman Swift, they have not been able to give us tell us what their position is, although we are pretty confident we know where they're leaning. And you know, it's just the ultimate betrayal that we have been pushed aside and not heard on this issue. And that is what brought me back to running in Royal Palm Beach. We saw from this process that we had to hunt all over for backup data. The packages weren't complete. The traffic reports were not complete or done by the applicant themselves. They had 10 special conditions to meet. In my view, they don't meet the 10 special conditions, and I'm not going to bore you with all the details, but we had an attorney go through them also. So I'm back, and I'm back because I believe that the village of Royal Palm Beach needs leadership. It's time for some leadership, and it's time that we restore trust, transparency, and civility to Royal Palm Beach. We are a great place. We've done good things, and we have a future ahead of us that's wonderful because unlike many municipalities, we've got money. We are financially sound. Good business decisions were made. We are financially sound. We could negotiate for property if that needed to be, if it was in our best interest. And I believe that I can be there and I can make these things happen. And I'm running hard. I'm going to win. And I'm telling you something. If you know somebody in Royal Palm Beach, tell them to vote for me. If family, friends, if you don't know somebody in Royal Palm Beach, pick up the phone book, call any name at random, and tell them to vote for Martha Webster. And I also, I want to say that when we didn't get any results from some of the members of the council, we made a decision that our last resort was to run against them. And I want to commend the two ladies who are here, Lenore White and Selena Smith, who stood up. We filed the last 24 hours. But we want them to pay attention to us and not to ignore the residents of Royal Palm Beach. And we're going to win, we're going to make a difference, and you know what? It'll be the first time ever that there's a female mayor, and it'll be the first time ever there's more than one woman on the council at the same time. So please help us out. Thank you. I'm running against Fred Pinto, who is a Democrat. He was he's been on the council for 12 years. He's been along for the ride. He's had a nice ride. He's done nothing. He doesn't show up for his advisory meetings that he's the liaison for. He doesn't show up for committee meetings or any meetings that he's to represent the village on. And in fact, he's a no-show on most of our events in Royal Palm Beach. It used to be a joke. It was like a where's Waldo? Where's Fred? Who nobody knew where Fred was. And so he's just been along for the ride. And he's shown no leadership in this matter whatsoever. He's not even willing to meet with the residents. So that is who my opponent is.
If Royal Palm closed that street that would have gone up out to State Road 7.
Yes, it is, and I fought for that. I was a vote for that. That is Madrid Road. The county spent $30,000 in putting the cutout from State Road 7 to make the connection to Madrid Road. And we had some contentious meetings about it, It was, some wanted it, some didn't want it, but I'm very happy to say that the council person who was opposed to that, who I fought for that for many years, has changed his decision and has in fact endorsed me for this race, and that's Councilman David Swift. We work together. Good people work together.